When's the last time you hit some golf balls?
I actually played
Okay, this is don't help.
You ready? All right. It is 4:02 and we'll call the meeting to order. Mr. Williams, would you like to lead us in the flag salute today?
Right on over your heart, repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, we have 4 trustees present, Mr. Williams, Mr. Useless, Mr. Brea, and myself. I will now,
Yes.
been a little while. All right, business from the floor. The board meeting is a business meeting of the board held in a public forum to comply with the Brown Act. It is not a town hall meeting with the board. This is a time for citizens to present problems or questions they feel the board should discuss. Individuals are encouraged to address the full board, not individual board members. The law prohibits the board from taking action on items not on the agenda. Request to speak cards should be filled out in advance and presented to the superintendent's executive assistant. Instructions for submitting remote public comments can be found on our website, BUSD page 12, under the tab Board of Trustees. The board has a policy limiting any speaker to not more than 3 minutes. For the record, please state your name. Do we have any this time?
Not this time.
All right. It is 4:04 and we will adjourn for closed session.
Oh, that's right. That's all. What you got? The last person.
Not that right now. Sitting here, red light. All right. Okay, it's 5:08 and we are coming back from closed session. During closed session, we were joined by our fifth trustee member, Ms. Gibbons. So now we do have all five trustees are present and were present during closed session. In closed session, the board took action to place certificated employee number 3881 on suspension without pay pending dismissal and to issue a 30-day notice of dismissal pursuant to Education Code Section 44934. Vote was 5 ayes to 0 nays.
Point of order. Aaron, that should be
Sorry.
classified.
There was, oh, correct, Jen. Not to place classified staff, not certificated. Good. Good, thank you. All right, and now we will move into presentations and recognitions. First is Barstow High School ASB.
Hi. ASB had a great year this year. We had many activities and other sorts of going on this year around this year. I have Leo Martinez here. He's a senior next year, and we have Nico. He's a junior next year. And ASB has had a great year this year. We have had many successes, but also many failures. As a team, we learned from those failures and plan on doing even better next year. Going into this year, we were very short-staffed with students and other representatives of the school at Barstow. And going on to this following next year, our numbers have doubled. So kids are getting more invested into the activities we're doing, and people and teachers are getting more involved. And I think that's really good.
We had senior sunrise start at the start of the year, and the first weeks of school we hosted a club rush so our students know about the great clubs we have on campus. We also hosted a water eating contest in September, and we even had our principal participate, and it was just a lovely time for everyone. We invested in a splash tower and had our very first ever soak staff event. Many of our wonderful teachers and staff volunteered to get soaked in the name of fun. The sophomores participated in an annual bee hill painting and probably ended up painting on themselves more than the actual bee hill. Around Halloween, we had a Halloween costume contest during lunch, and it was amazing and very fun. As we got closer to winter break, we wanted to host a special event for students to attend during lunch. So we as ASB came up with an ASB holiday extravaganza. Students could earn fun prizes by playing a number of different games and taking pictures with festive characters. Every October is a big rivalry game between Barstow and Victorville. So our boys dressed up as cheerleaders and the girls played flag football during our Power Cup event. Because our football team won the Axe last year, we decided to have an Axe parade and a bunny funeral this year to bring them good luck. Turns out it worked because the Aztecs won again.
ASB invested heavily into lighting setups and to have better assembly.
Sorry, next slide, please. Hey.
And then our students frequently comment on how our lighting is very good and how we enjoy it, or how they enjoy it. I enjoy it as well. Our assemblies have very nice spectacles to look at, so that way our walls and whatnot aren't as dim and dark. Every other Friday, we would have our Awesomastic Fridays where we would nominate a teacher, and or not we, but the students, we would send out a form, and they would decide what teacher of the month we would be. And we would always celebrate them, and we would always have like the students come involved, the ones that are in the classroom. We would never take any, but we would always just give them like a prize and a thank you for being such a great teacher. Moving on, prom was amazing this year. A lot of students really liked it. We had it in Redlands at the Fox Theater, and we've heard nothing but positive feedback. They loved the food, our cookies, and how we matched the venue with our theme of the Warring 20s. Prom next year is already booked, so that process will be in full swing starting next year. And speaking of next year, we're looking forward to continuing the improving school culture on campus. We want to invest in more long-term purchases, like more lighting, and we want to provide more freebies for the students to get more school spirit. These are some of our ideas for next year. We want to create a haunted house in October, have seniors face off with staff in the kickball game. We want to also have a talent show a Valentine's Day picnic, and then start a new tradition for the junior class through a kickball game and host a color run in the spring.
So all of our ideas and our activities go back into the school. So every fundraiser, every food drive, I don't know, every aspect that has to do with these kids are always going to be revolved around them. And these new traditions like our splash tower, many other schools have tried and competing with us. Sorry that they can't. And along with these activities, we're getting more invested. We're getting more exposure to these kids. We're getting more into the freedom of them being able to have more options at Barstow High School. And I think that's very amazing. And all of our ideas are based on funding. This year, the students were a bit more reserved into terms of spending compared to previous years, so money was tight. DJ costs, booth costs, venue costs, and buzzing costs are our biggest prices and stuff in those ranges. And we're hoping that creating new events could also increase our fundraising programs for next year because we want bigger and better things. We need money. In the meantime, we would like to thank you for listening, and we hope to see you at some of our events this year. Thank you for your time.
All right, next is the outreach liaison presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Ruth Sandoval. I serve as the outreach liaison under the School Climate Department at Barstow Unified. I'm here to provide a brief overview of the McKinney-Vento and foster youth programs within Barstow Unified and how working together we can ensure these students receive the support that they need to succeed. At the heart of both McKinney-Vento and foster care legislation is one goal: ensuring that every student has access to a stable, supportive education, no matter their housing or life situation. McKinney-Vento students are those who lack fixed, regular, and adequate housing. This may mean living in shelters, motels, cars, campgrounds, or doubled up with others due to hardship. Foster youth often face disruptive schooling due to emotional trauma and frequent placement changes, meaning the student and their family often move from place to place through the school year. Currently in Barstow, we are serving 405 McKinney-Vento students and 32 foster youth. But we know that number doesn't reflect the full need. Many families go unidentified due to stigma, lack of information, or fear of speaking up. These students face serious risks: higher dropout rates, lower academic performance, chronic absenteeism, social emotional challenges, limited access to basic needs, and without stable housing or consistent support, it becomes difficult for them to focus on school or feel connected to their learning environment. So, why does awareness matter? Our district offers these students immediate enrollment with no documents needed, transportation to maintain school stability, access to free meals, health services, crisis support. And as the outreach liaison, I connect families with clothing, housing resources, and other essentials. One important point to highlight is that our district's local control funding formula is directly tied to our unduplicated count of students identified by the state as high need. This includes students who are homeless in foster care from low-income households or English learners. By improving outreach and identification, we increase the resources that allow us to support all students more effectively. Just as importantly, awareness reduces shame. It lets families know they're not alone and that we're here to help, not judge. Every adult in our district can play a role by staying informed, observant, and ready to help. I believe many more families qualify for services but haven't yet been identified. So this year we've made important strides in supporting some of our most vulnerable students. Through partnerships with community organizations like Mojave Valley United Way, we've been able to provide weekend meals to students facing food insecurity. We also teamed up with Greater Hope Foundation to expand access to counseling for students experiencing trauma or instability. In addition, we distributed school supplies
backpacks, shoes, and clothing, ensuring students are equipped and confident when they walk into the classroom. These efforts have strengthened trust with families and removed some of everyday barriers that impact learning. While raising awareness remains our focus, we're proud of these steps and the collaboration that made them possible. So by working closely together with administrators, teachers, and community partners, we can raise awareness, remove barriers, and ensure students receive the stability they need. Your leadership in championing inclusive policies and sustaining vital resources helps maintain a school environment where every student feels supported and valued. Together, we can make a lasting difference in lives of students facing homelessness or foster care challenges. And if you would like to connect with me or learn more, my information is up top. I know it's a bit small, but my number is also there. And if you guys would like to connect with me, I'm more than willing. I'll be right here. And thank you for your time, for your continued commitment to equity and student success.
Next, we'll move on to business from the floor. The board meeting is a business meeting of the board held in a public forum to comply with the Brown Act. It is not a town hall meeting with the board. This is the time for citizens to present problems or questions they feel the board should discuss. Individuals are encouraged to address the full board, not individual board members. The law prohibits the board from taking actions on items not on the agenda. Request to speak cards should be filled out in advance and presented to the superintendent's executive assistant. Instructions for submitting remote public comments can be found on our website, busdk12.com, under the tab Board of Trustees. The board has a policy limiting any speaker to not more than 3 minutes. The board limits the total time for public input on each item or topic to 15 minutes or 5 individual requests to speak. The president may review the submitted request to speak or take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue, and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Citizens who have comments on or against a particular issue may be asked to provide a written statement for the record or to sign an agreement with the written comments of another citizen. All names will be memorialized in minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and number of persons wishing to be heard. For the record, please state your name. Do we have any?
We do. We have one, Jennifer Nowotny and Catherine Hernandez would like to speak to the board about the friendly flosser.
All right. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Jennifer Nowotny, and I am here on behalf of the Friendly Flosser, a mobile dental hygiene practice committed to increasing access to preventive oral health care in underserved communities. Some of you may remember me from past outreach efforts. Our mission at the Friendly Flosser remains focused on prevention, early intervention, and education, because we know healthy smiles support healthy learning. Tonight, I'd like to introduce Catherine Hernandez, a dental hygienist who works not only with the Friendly Flosser, but also at a local pediatric dental office here in town. Most importantly, though, she's also a parent of a student right here in the Barstow Unified School District. Catherine brings a unique and powerful perspective. She sees firsthand the challenges children in your community face when it comes to dental decay. And she's here to share a few words about these concerns and how we can work together to make a difference in your school district.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Catherine. As Jennifer mentioned, I see firsthand what many of us already know. Dental decay is far too common in our community. I witness it every single day at my pediatric practice. We literally only have one pediatric practice in town, right? I feel like I see all these kids in Barstow Unified School District. I witness the toll it takes on children's health, confidence, and learning every day. That is why I'm here this evening to help be a part of the solution. By partnering with BUSD, the Friendly Flosser can help reduce the burden of dental disease through early intervention, prevention, and education. With your support, we can bring services directly to your campuses, making it easy and stress-free for families while ensuring students stay healthy and ready to learn. We truly believe that oral health is part of a whole child's success. We're ready to collaborate, offer support, and provide a resource that uplifts both the health and well-being of your students. At the Friendly Flosser, we aim to be part of the solution by providing on-site dental screenings, cleanings, fluoride varnish, and protective sealants, all conveniently delivered at school. These services are not only evidence-based, but also proven to reduce decay, improve attendance, and academic outcomes. I am proud to be part of this community. I've been part of it for 30 years of my life, went all through Barstow Unified School District all my life, and now I have a child here too. I am also deeply committed to helping Barstow students grow up with strong, healthy smiles that last a lifetime. I would love to get more information on how we can connect to bring this much needed service to the students of BUSD. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next is staff reports, instructional materials overview.
It's gonna go over to Mr. Godfrey.
Yeah, there have been some inquiries about the curriculum we use here in our district and the process that we use to select said curriculum. So I'd like to spend a couple of minutes talking to you about what that looks like. On our slide deck, you'll see that the objective is to review California content standards, curriculum frameworks, and the materials adoption cycles and timelines that we follow as prescribed by the state. So what are California content standards? They set expectations for what students should know and be able to do at each grade level. I think for the English language arts standards, it's a book about yay big for K-12. And for math, it's a little smaller, but it's about the same size. The number of standards that all of our students are required, that we require our schools to follow and to ensure that students are learning what it is they need to learn. And as you know, with our CAS testing, state testing, that begins in 3rd grade. However, the standards being taught at kindergarten, 1st grade, and 2nd grade are just as important because they're preparing the students for that 3rd grade test. So looking at our next slide, core subject content standards, the last time English language arts standards were adopted in the state of California was 2010. So if you do the math there, that's about 15 years. Been a while. Those are the Common Core state standards. We moved away from No Child Left Behind to a more complex set of standards that we have now. English language development standards were brought on in 2012. Math standards, again, were in 2010 as well. History, social science, actually, the standards were adopted in 1998, pre-Common Core state standards. There are lots of reasons for that. If you ever have a chance to sit down with a history, social science teacher, you'll know they have very robust opinions about the content they are teaching. And so at the state level, they decided to keep the content standards that were in place as of 1998. There are, however, standards that do align with Common Core state standards that are attached to language arts. And then finally, the science standards were adopted in 2013. Those are called next generation science standards. So now that we have our standards, the state engaged in a process to create what they call frameworks. The frameworks are really taking the standards, breaking them apart, and indicating additional resources and expectations of delivery of that content. It's Ed Code Section 51002, which calls for the development of broad standards and guidelines for educational programs. The English language arts and English language development standards, again, were adopted in 2014. That was Common Core state standards. They are anticipated to be updated in 2027. What does that mean? That means once the frameworks are complete, they'll pull a team of people together, which I'll get to in a moment, and they go through a process to develop the curriculum, the actual books, the actual stories students are going to read, the actual assessments that are going to be required. That takes time. So as a district, we're keeping a close eye on that timeline so that as soon as state approved curriculum is available to us, we engage in a process, and I'll get to that part in a minute. History social science standards were adopted in 2016, a revamped version of 1998. Curriculum frameworks, I should say. And finally, science, the frameworks were adopted along with the standards in 2013. So what are the requirements of the state? The state requires that for grades kindergarten through 8th grade, there are state approved curriculum for all schools to review. And in our district, we've always taken that list. We pulled teams of teachers together. We've asked them to pilot the curriculum, to get into groups, to talk about what they've seen, to do lesson planning and research on what they think would be the best set of curriculum for their students. It's a very in-depth process. For language arts, we're looking at probably 2026 or 2027. It's a little ways out. So we're constantly trying to find ways to bolster and revamp the current adoption that we have in place. What are the requirements? Continue on. The impact of instructional materials on classroom learning is significant, and instructional materials have been shown to be an essential tool for teachers in today's classroom. They serve as primary mode of access for California students to the state content standards and knowledge and skills they must master. So if you remember in September, I always bring an item to the board that reviews the Williams Act. We look at all the books that are in students' classrooms. There's a team that goes through every facility, the gymnasiums, the classrooms, common spaces, restrooms, to make sure that everything's tip-top shape. And with that, they will give us a report. I bring that report to you on the 8th week of school, and we review that. I'm proud to say in the last 10 years, we've always been able to ensure that all of our students have access to the Common Core state standards adopted curriculum. We've never fallen short of that. It's a very in-depth process. When we do go through our next large adoption, you're going to see there are large dollar figures attached to that. The last Wonders adoption was well over $1 million. And you're talking about all of our students between kindergarten and 6th grade. So it's a large ticket item. When the state decides to bring together these experts, they have what's called a education content review team. It's made up of current teachers in their subject matter, language arts teachers, math teachers, first grade teachers, second grade teachers, so on and so forth. But they also have content review experts that are doctorates. They have doctorates in their set field. And that team comes together to identify which of the publishers that submit their curriculum is going to be approved for allowable adoption at districts. Again, that's a very long process. We're still at the point where the new frameworks are not complete. So the publishers are doing a lot of kind of guessing and anticipating as to what changes will be made. And they're working on that curriculum right now. And when the final frameworks come out, this team gets together and they sort of cross-reference what it is they say the curriculum has to have and what does the publisher actually provide. For the most part, there's usually 5 to 7 publishers available in each content area for us to choose from. And I think our teachers have done a great job historically with picking the right publishers so that we can move forward with our students. So what is our cycle? Currently, our English language arts curriculum for language arts is what we call Wonders. We adopted that in 2016. That's K through 6. In 7th through 12th grade, we have a collection called Collections, adopted in 2016 as well. At the TK level, because that's a continuing growing population for our district, it's a program called Ready to Advance. The ELD programs for kindergarten through 6 were adopted in 2016. They are embedded in the Wonders program. And grades 7 through 12 is a program called Cengage. Moving on to math. If you have a chance to ever talk to any of our elementary teachers, they'll always tell you that our Wonders program sometimes is lacking in the curriculum aspect, but our Go Math program is more robust. So we spend more time trying to bolster and add to our Wonders and less time having to do that with Go Math. Go Math was adopted in our district in 2013. Grades 9 through 12 went through a math adoption in 2015. It's a program called Houghton Mifflin Hartman. History, social science, kindergarten through 8th grade, right around the pandemic, our teachers engaged in a pilot study, and they selected a program called Teacher Curriculum Institute, TCI. And grades 9 through 12, same year, McGraw-Hill was adopted at our high school and junior high. And finally, with science, kindergarten through 8th grade is a program called Amplify, adopted in 2019. I won't go through and read all the 9th through 12th, but I think we have a teacher here who could speak to it. Space science, geology, anatomy, physics, chemistry publishers, a program called Savas Learning, as well as Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, Pearson, and McGraw-Hill. That was just recently updated in 2024. And part of the discussion around tonight's presentation was to make sure that the board understands we're constantly looking at updating our curriculum. You see in the agenda tonight, we have a U.S. history class that's updating its content to reflect ethnic studies embedded in that. We follow the same process for any adoption that comes through, whether it's a standalone class, like a CTE course, or grades K through 12 language arts English. So it's the same process. We bring teachers together, they collaborate, they do research, they create lesson plans, they actually select. They have to choose which publisher they want to use. So their voice is fully represented there. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Yes, I have a comment. I'm not an expert in curriculum or not even close, but I made a couple of calls, regarding curriculum and our test scores, and I called a few schools that are very successful in the test scores, and I asked them about the curriculum and stuff, and they were saying like one school from one side of the town, both schools, like the third graders, are using the same curriculum. You know what I mean? One school's not using one, and the other one's using a different one, and one principal's not deciding what he wants to do. It's kind of like Scott, me and you we're football guys, and like a freshman team at a high school will use the same plays as the varsity. Just like Temple City did in 1971. And then they even went a step farther. They used it with youth football, and the terminology, the verbiage and all that was the same. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I'm going to the right place but like I said, I'm not an expert, but it seems like the schools that are very successful with their test scores are all on the same page. Right. I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
No, it makes sense. And we're constantly striving at the cabinet level to support school sites with this idea that we're all consistent across all of our grade levels, across all our content areas. Part of that comes with monitoring. So we do walkthroughs, and we do identify whether or not the third grade English language arts curriculum that's being used isn't a district adopted curriculum. We do have that ability to make sure of that. It's a constant work in progress. Part of what we enjoy out here in Barstow, as you know, is we have a lot of teacher turnover. And in order to be able to support them, we have to train them. And to find the time to do that, it's not always easy, just given the fact that we have constraints around that. So it's a constant effort. And it all boils down to monitoring. So at our level, we try to support our principals with monitoring their teachers. They will monitor their students as well. So it's an ongoing effort.
Yeah, and you and your sister, you guys really explain very well, and I'm learning every day, every meeting, and I just thought I'd throw that out there. And like I said, I'm not an expert, and I know you guys are doing a good job, but I just needed to say something.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No, I agree with that, because I've heard that before, the consistency across the board. Everybody needs to be on the same sheet, and I've heard that. I've heard that, and you're right. And I applaud what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a few questions. I don't want to kind of spiral in too many different directions. I'll try to keep it as focused as I can. The first one that I kind of wanted to try to understand is between the adoption cycles of the standards and then where we are as far as our cycles inside of our curriculum. So from, if I'm understanding correctly, particularly if you pull up, say, like the language arts piece, right, is that we're looking closely at having a new curriculum or a new set of standards coming out. So we are going to future-wise align that when that becomes available.
Correct.
But then if I'm looking at, say, like the other ones, i.e. either math, social science, all the other categories, if we aren't having new standards coming into place, do we have anything district-wise as either a procedure, as a rule of thumb, or what we've done as far as saying at 5 years, we want to review this curriculum, or at 10 years, or 20 years, or like, is there anything as far as it makes sense if we're waiting on the ELA port piece because we're about to have a whole new set of standards and a whole new set of curriculum, but with the other ones, if there isn't anything directly in the pipeline, do we have anything, to either pilot new programs or
Well, we're constantly
review
engaged.
it, or, does that make sense?
Yeah, we're constantly engaging in identifying supplemental materials, as I was talking about with Wonders, as well as supplemental strategies. For example, we have a very robust reading, teaching K-3 reading program of training that Ms. Fisher oversees for our district. I think we have over 100 or so teachers that have gone through this, and it's setting us up to be prepared for the new what's the assessment called again?
The K2 reading.
The K2 reading difficulty screener. So yeah, we're constantly looking at, okay, what do we need to do to prepare ourselves for when something comes down from the state? Part of the ed code with the curriculum frameworks and the curriculum that comes after that is the state requires us as a district to ensure that our students are receiving Common Core aligned curriculum. And in order to do that, it's research-based. So who better than to tell us which curriculum will fit than the state? So yes, we are kind of tied to that timeline, but we're always looking at supplemental opportunities for our teachers, for our students, so that we're not falling behind.
So there's not really a time in between when that update comes. So like, let's just say, for instance, history, social science, last adopted 98. There's, and then you look at ours was adopted in 2016, do we usually roll like 10 years? Is there like a rule of thumb, or?
It's 8 years for the state.
8 years, okay.
The state said, they stated in the ed code that every 8 years
Okay.
they're going to complete their updates.
Okay,
They haven't been doing it.
that's
Right, it's become political.
That's where I'm, yeah.
Yes, it's become political, so
Okay.
we're kind of at the mercy of the work that they're trying to do.
Okay,
However, like I said, we do try and get ahead of the curve with
yeah.
various other supplemental opportunities.
And with our supplementals, do we have uniformity at all within the district when it comes to supplementals? As in, what reading, is it like, say, all elementaries will have the same supplemental curriculum to supplement, say, Wonders, right? So I can go into any, Skyline, Henderson, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, not necessarily. You'll find when you read the LCAP in the equity multiplier goals, almost every school that is an equity multiplier school does have goals tied to student achievement. And within that, they have to communicate with their partners about what can we do as a school site to improve what we're offering to students. And through that work, they identify, for example, Lenwood popped into my head. There's a program called Math Movement. Basically what it does is it takes the Go Math curriculum and ramps it up and makes it more tactile for kids, more physical activity around the standards. So that's an example of what the freedom that we give our sites to work with their educational partners, because each site, they have a different story as it relates to their California dashboard. Some of our school sites made large gains from 23 to 24 on the dashboard in areas of like language arts and English language development. Whereas a school that's 5 miles away didn't realize that same improvement. So they have different needs. So that's where they talk to their educational partners to say, what can we do more and better to support what our kids need? So there is flexibility in that.
Okay, it makes sense. I hope I'm not trying to interrogate on
No,
this.
no, no.
There's a lot of different pieces to it. Do we have anything as far as when we're saying educational partners, specifically in-house, as far as the teachers, site leads or anything to have those discussions?
Yeah,
Or
so-
those committees, or is that in place?
Yes, all of our schools are Title I. They have to complete a comprehensive needs assessment every year as part of their single school plan, which you guys will get in June. They've each done that. And by going through that process, they're talking with teachers, teacher leaders, community, other administrators, district level cabinet, to help formulate that plan. So yes, there is a yearly process that each school goes through. And all of it is based on the California dashboard. So if they've got X number of students that are now underperforming in language arts, they have to attack that with actions, services, and dedicated resources.
Okay, I guess kind of the last part is, do we have any way, as far as if there is something that we know is good, such as the math piece that you were bringing up, and with having the movement and all that, but say that's only using the equity multiplier funds from that school, but another school, say, may not have that funds? Is there any way, as far as that getting brought to our attention, that like, hey, this is really awesome, but we don't have that funding? Is there any way we can?
Yeah, because we're a Title I district, every site has access to plenty of funds that can act as equity multiplier dollars, basically.
Okay.
They're restricted dollars, so you can't supplant. But I think we've been doing this long enough, we're able to kind of guide the principals so that they're aware that I can use Title I money on this, equity multiplier on that. As an example.
I just want to make sure, at least from our end, that there's nothing else we could help.
Yeah.
As far as if there is an educational program, there is a curriculum, there is a supplemental, there is something that could be offered to make sure that we have it available.
The next big one will be math. There will be math curriculum available next year for piloting. So we'll be bringing teams of teachers together next year in hopes of finding the right curriculum to launch in 26, 27.
Cool.
We will be using unrestricted lottery, or restricted lottery. There's a pot of money for that.
Well, thank you. I know that was a lot of different questions. I had like 100 different questions kind of that had been, thinking about all the time, but thank you. Everybody else good? All right, next we have the enrollment report, month 9.
Thank you. If we look at month 9 compared to month 8, the district is down 10 at the elementary and up 5 at the high school. This equates to less than 1.1% of the district's total enrollment. Not too bad. But if you look at month 9 in comparison to last year's month 9, the difference is about 4.4%. We're not funded on enrollment. However, if you wanted to replace that percentage, the number, you could take the average pupil spending of approximately $10,000. That's going to equate to $273,000 from year to year. So as I said, however, there are a lot of factors of how the district is funded, such as COLA increases and ADA changes that contribute to the overall. So at the elementary, we're down 10 from month 8 to month 9, and at the high school, we're up 5.
What are we doing across the board? Because I know across state, across the country, big issue with declining enrollment. So what are we in our district doing to help reverse that? Or is there anything we can do?
Build more houses.
Build more houses. I think the city's trying to work on that, but
Is that big project going?
Yeah. So, yeah, I know it's a big issue, but
yep,
how do you fix it is the question. other than building more houses?
We do have a lot. I specifically don't have necessarily all the answers, but I do know CSBA does have a lot of specific trainings on that and information to kind of bring back. I've been a little bit more both in the curriculum and financial side, but I'm sure there is some more. We can probably look into that from the CSBA side to try to get some more information and help. So
Yeah, I read those pretty much all the time. It's like a lot. It's a lot of information.
And Ms. Norman has a finger on the pulse of that as well. It's an enrollment center. So it's not a whole lot we can do, but we get that big project going.
I'm sure they're working on it.
I'm sure they are too.
next we have the monthly cash report. I'm guessing that's
Mr. Beaton as well.
It is, thank you. As of the 19th of May, the district has $82,999,993.38, as noted in the San Marino County Superintendent Schools Charter. That is the number.
Thank you. Guys have any comments on that? All right. Next we have the superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, board members, staff, and guests. We are near the completion of the 2024-2025 school year. Tomorrow's our last day. We have held 2 graduations, 1 promotion, and 1 completion ceremony. We have 1 promotion ceremony and 1 graduation ceremony coming up. This year has been filled with many exciting events focused on academics, mental health, behavioral support, the arts, and athletics. Our students have impressed and inspired us through the year. Congratulations to the 2025 high school and adult education graduates. Although your journey with the BUSD has come to an end, we will always be here encouraging you as you move on to your next paths that will map your individual lives as productive members of our society. Just as we celebrate the success of our students, this is a perfect time to celebrate the success of our staff. Wednesday, May 14, 2025, we celebrated with our incredible staff at the Barstow Community College Performing Arts Center. The movie The Incredibles was playing in the theater while food trucks provided amazing tacos and desserts outside. In the foyer, raffle prizes and service pins were handed out and great conversations were going on. Fun was had with those who attended. On Friday, May 16, 2025, every school and department received at least 1 edible arrangement as a thank you to our incredible staff. The arrangements consisted of fruit flowers with some pieces dipped in chocolate. I hope every staff member had the opportunity to enjoy this special treat. And we look forward to our next regularly scheduled board meeting on June 10th, 2025, where we will recognize our BUSD retirees with crystal apples for their years of dedicated service to students and staff. As we close out the 2024-2025 school year, we are prepared and excited to kick off summer school on June 2nd, 2025. Our staff are looking forward to welcoming students back for the summer session as we continue our commitment to ensuring every student in Barstow Unified School District is provided a safe environment conducive to learning.
Thank you. Next we have the board reports. Questions?
I don't really have a report. I just want to say hi to everyone. And my apologies for being absent and a little tardy today. I do want to give a shout out to the staff at Skyline, also the ISP teachers, and also Astasia Lewis with the math work she's doing with her students at Cameron. And that's about it. Thank you.
Ms. Williams? I'm just happy to be here. I am.
All right. Good to see you. Mr. Eustace?
Yes, first I want to thank Barstow Community College for, letting us use their facilities for the picnic and also for the graduation, and I want to give a shout out to the custodian staff and the maintenance staff that put out the chairs, the silent heroes of this college and our school district, and also support staff and, certificate staff, it's a pretty heavy time of the year for graduation. And, they did a fantastic job. We went to the Central High graduation, and I'm sure glad a couple of those speakers aren't running for office, but they'd tear us up, you know what I mean? They were really, it was enjoyable to be there, My second thing is, I don't know if it's a question or whatever, I don't know if I missed it or not through our agendas, I see we're hiring, staff for summer school. And in the past, we've hired extra custodian staff. Are we gonna hire extra, or did I miss it? Or are we gonna bypass it, or we're gonna let the guys that are working there do double duty, or what? Did I miss it? If I missed it, please correct me.
Mr. Gutierrez.
Yeah, we're gonna hire extra staff for the summer school.
Okay,
All
that's good.
classifications.
And the district picnic, Mr. Gutierrez or Mr. Ortiz, Mr. Godfrey, they were there with all smiles. I thank you very much, Mr. Rubio. I took a guess, went to the ticket table. Christina and Mo were there, and the guest that I was there, she said, those are very nice people. And thank you very much, Christina, and thank you, Mo, if you're watching. That's a good reflection of the school district. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost nothing to be nice. You know what I mean? A smile goes a long ways. And the fourth thing I like to bring up, the Memorial Day. We've had we had a soldier, Espinosa of World War II, that was killed, lived there on 6th Street. Mr. Stonecipher, Mr. Grego, Mr. Lovato were killed in Vietnam. They gave up their yesterdays for us, and I don't take that lightly. And my 3 colleagues here served in the service, and want to thank you guys again. I've done it before, and I don't know. It seems like we're just forgetting our military. Mostly the ones that gave up everything for us. And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Brad?
I have nothing to report.
Thank you. I'd also like to echo the sentiments of my colleague. Just to remember Memorial Day, it's not just a 3-day weekend, but people did actually sacrifice everything for us. And I do, take that very personally and take it to heart. It's easy to say all the different things that we say in all the different ways and for all the different liberties that we have, but people did pay the ultimate sacrifice in order for all of us to be able to have that. So I always take time to remember that. Also want to say thank you to the presenters for all your information. Thank you for everything. I do really appreciate getting all the information, so that way I can make the best informed decisions that I can do. Also wanted to say thank you for all the different people at all the different places. Miss Lewis, from going and doing her class awards, and I don't know the exact name of the event, but the whole STEM activity was pretty neat. I actually got to take my daughter over there, who's also in 4th grade, so she got to kind of play with some of the experiments, so that was neat. Getting to do the scavenger hunt. Miss Gibbons and Mr. Williams were also out there, so that was just kind of a neat experience to get to see the kids being able to do hands-on activities. I know is always nice. Senior awards was pretty awesome at the high school. I don't remember the exact number. I believe it was over $120,000 that we were able to give out in scholarships to all the students. So that's just awesome to see the whole community wrapping around our students in order to provide that much support for them to be able to move on, to their next voyage in life through college. All the different graduations, promotions, really inspiring to see or to hear the speeches, to see all the students and all the families, everybody coming together. And also the employee appreciation was nice. I was there. It was nice to see all the different conversations being had, and definitely open to, hearing any suggestions or if people liked it doing it there at the college, if we'd all like to continue doing it. I think it went well, but always happy to hear what everyone has to say about it and try to make it as awesome as we can. All right. Next we have the student representatives report. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
All we have left while wrapping up the year, well, I will be personally at the STEM graduation ceremony tomorrow to give my speech for the upcoming freshmen. And all we have is our senior champ coming on tomorrow. And yeah, and this is my last time as a junior, so that's pretty much it.
Sounds good. Well, you are more than welcome to stay if you would like, or if you would like to take your leave, that's fine as well.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. You guys have a good day.
Thank you. All right, next we have the representatives report, BEA.
Before I start my speech, though, I think it's pretty cool that ASB is doing all those new activities next year in high school.
Yeah, it is.
Bringing activities for our kids is an amazing thing. Hopefully they can fundraise and get some stuff. I think that's really cool to see those ideas come through. Kids need to have some fun in school as well, not just learning. Second of all, just personal note, thank you for everyone that showed up to do our little breakout meeting. We know who the sergeant of the military is now. As I turn and Gibbons kids are all over the place and run around, just, and he has his all lined up. I don't know what you call that.
Online.
And I don't know what it was, but it was really fun, so thank you. And thank you for showing up for my awards night. Kids really liked it. So I appreciate that. Okay, now for BEA report. After the year we've experienced, our members continue to feel that their voices, opinions, and values are not respected or appreciated by BUSD. As a result, we will be moving forward in a new direction next year. Although this board did not take our vote of no confidence seriously, we will not give up on finding meaningful ways to express our concerns. As I said before, we will not back down from our strong beliefs. Too many of our teachers voted no confidence and were overlooked, dismissed, and made to feel unheard. This cannot be ignored. As we look ahead to the next school year, we intend to begin with a more focused, organized action. We remain deeply disappointed that our request for a mediator to support both BEA and the district administration was disregarded. This was an important opportunity for progress and mutual understanding, and it was denied. Additionally, we want to be very clear that BEA does not support the continued use of full mind teachers next year. While we did meet with Full Mind and had a productive initial conversation, the meeting was cut short by district administration, who rushed the process and did not respect our request for additional time. We are firmly against the use of any online teachers and strongly believe that continuing the period subs and class splits, though difficult, is far better for our students' well-being and educational experience. I'd like to personally thank Mr. Heldreth for being the only person to answer the phone on Friday. Thank you. I called the district office and attempted to contact 5 different departments, none of which answered the phone. The situation highlights VA's ongoing concern about the lack of communication within this district. As this long and difficult school year comes to a close, we commend all of our members for their unwavering hard work, dedication, and commitment to our students. We hope all our members find time to rest, recharge, and enjoy a well-deserved summer break. Thank you.
Thank you. DSCA?
I got CSCA, Gary Thomas, Chief Communication Officer. We got some things to say. We did have nothing but pretty much positive feedback about the Employee Appreciation Day. Pretty much everyone enjoyed it. We'd like to thank the management team, especially for our end, in that the way that they were able to present it this year, none of our members had to work or operate the event. So every single one of our members had the opportunity to attend it, and we really do appreciate that. Sometimes I think over the years, I don't think it was lost, but it was kind of a thing where some of our employees had to work and attend the events and they weren't able to fully enjoy what you guys were able to offer the other employees. So we do really appreciate that. We are glad to say that we did pass 3 MOUs. So hopefully those will be going forward. I'm not sure if they made them to this agenda or if they make it to the June agenda. We're hoping to get that finalized. We have started our negotiation teams and started our own internal meetings, seeing that it is a sunshine year. We are digging through every little section and make sure, even sometimes if wording should be shall or may, just to make sure everything works out properly. We were able to present 2 scholarships at the senior awards, one to David Zavala and then one to Kaylee Martinez. We'd like to wish them luck and all that they do moving forward. One note that I would like to add, going from this year to next year, when we do take any kind of pollings or times in our meetings to ask our employees what their concerns are about work, from the first day of school to the last day of school, they have mentioned safety. We would like to let you guys know as board members, there is something that Doug helped me work with, and that is the workplace violence report. You guys have, since it is a board agenda item or a board agenda policy, you guys have the freedom to inquire about those anytime. We are fully pushing forward for our employees to make sure that we fill out those in any incidents, whether it's between student and adult or adults to adult. Adults can include everything from other staff members, public members, guests, parents, even outside contractors, whatever the issue may be. We ask them to fill those out. That way there is something on report. I will say that when we do report any kind of instances of violence or worries and concerns about security, such as Deanna's office and Christina, Gutierrez's office, and Monique, they have attended to those issues immediately and with the vigor that needs to be done. So it's not that it's not being attended to, it's just that our employees want to make sure that you guys, the board, understands the amount of instances that are happening. Not so much that they're not being attended to, but to understand the volume of which they are being happening. Other than that, though, we do feel that we've had a pretty successful year. We've had great negotiations. Many of our employees feel that they have done well this year. Again, thank you guys for placing our 4Ks. They're going to be moving to different places. Daniel's office has been increasing with help of Mr. Gutierrez, increasing, getting our positions filled, which helps relieve a lot of pressure on our employees. So again, it's been a very successful year for us, but we'd like to just move forward and try to get better on all things. So thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Next we have Personnel Commission.
Good evening, board members, staff, and guests. This is the report from the Personnel Commission. Currently, we have 0 interviews in process. We have 3 recruitments that are in the testing stage, and we have 0 recruitments that are open. That's subject to change. Currently, we have 383 classified employees, 179 8-hour full-time, 127 benefited part-time, and 77 non-benefited part-time that are less than 4 hours. And as always, we carry 15 classified management employees. In security, we have no vacancies. Safety, we still carry the 2 vacancies, trying to schedule those interviews. Custodial has no vacancies. We're currently scheduling testing for health assistant, school accounting technician, and buyer, and some of those are makeup tests because people could miss their time. So we're offering additional opportunities for people to test. That should be the last of the group of about 8 classifications that we're trying to get through the pipeline to create our list. To create our list, we have to read the application, score it, determine if they met minimum qualifications, clear them to test. So there's a process for that. And so that's what took a lot of time. We focused on that this month. That's why you'll see we had less hiring, but more. We're preparing to hire more people in June. This is prep work to do the hiring. June interviews are going to be scheduled for the list that we now created, right, with a ranked list with all this information. Tomorrow we're going to post 2 classifications for the nutrition services 3 and the HR technician. So they're going to post tomorrow for people to apply. And then again, it goes through the same process, right? Returning the applications, we do the review, determine if they meet minimum qualifications test, eventually to a list, and then interview. We estimate we have processed about 110 onboardings so far this year since July 1st, 24. Let's see, the campus safety and security trainings, we're still considering the dates of July 29th and 30th, trying to coordinate that to do the CPI training, which is the safety training, right? And, intervene when kids are fighting or something, right? What else do we have here? We are onboarding a lot of non-duty substitutes, so that's taking a lot of time. We're also creating a flyer with QR code and a place where parents or volunteers can get the application to become non-duty substitutes. So we're trying to streamline that process. Even though we're getting a lot of people coming in the door, I know that around the time when school principals want to do a lot more recruitment, so we're trying to facilitate that. We're also processing a lot of, at the end of the year, people are resigning, moving on to other districts, other positions, or they're retiring, right? So there's a lot of that going on. And I know there's a question about the summer school, so we usually post the positions, people sign up if they wanna be in the, participate in summer school, they're custodian or para, or, office assistant, whatever, all those classifications. And it goes through a process. Most of those have been selected already. There's maybe an office assistant or two that are still being worked out, but all that is already in place. And that should be everything I have for you this time.
Did you guys have anything? Nope. I did have one question. I don't know, it may not be directly. You were talking about the CPI training, and I don't know if this is in line or not. I was just wondering from the district side, who does it fall under as far as the training and the request portion? Is it the principals and the school sites, or does that from us from the district office as far as employees who want to have the training that we are having the training, allowed to take the training? Is that
So to answer your question, some of the job descriptions require that they are CPI trained, so it's mandated, it's mandatory, so the district provides it. We're always looking at expanding the expertise with the other ranks. People who are actually in constant contact with students, be it supervising students during the playground, nutrition and stuff like that. But we contract with Desert Mountain Stuff. They used to come and do the training for us. We had an in-house person who used to do it for us, but unfortunately we lost her. So trying to kind of revamp that whole process again. We hit a little speed bump in the past, but I think we're back where we need to be.
Okay.
We're actually bringing the trainings and first of all, the priority is to train all the ones that have the requirements or job description, and then after that, we'll start training everyone else that would want to be trained. Some of the classifications are campus security assistants, paraeducator SNs need to have it. So yeah.
okay? I just know that's been kind of I've heard that a lot of different places. It's been a big one. So I heard it whenever you brought it up and I was like, oh, I need to ask about it. So
Yeah, sometimes people take the training anticipating that they're gonna make a move into a classification that meets it, but they wanna substitute, so that would rely them to be a substitute in that.
gotcha.
And then we have to recertify as well. So
what is the cycle on it?
2 years. We don't want to go over 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's 6:12. We're gonna take a brief 5-minute recess. Yep. Right. Okay. 6:17, and we'll reconvene. And we were just done with the Personnel Commission. So now we are on the adoption of the agenda with a corrected copy, case 6A11, resignation, retirement of certificated personnel. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, no communications. Next is the consent agenda. Does anybody have any items they would like to pull?
K6A6.
A6. Okay. Anyone have any others?
No, sir.
Okay. I also have out of general K11, and then out of personnel services, the two directly before that, K6A4 and K6A5. So it'll be a total of four items being pulled. Just let me know whenever you're.
Yeah.
Good.
So we're starting with K11, you said?
Yes, K11. Okay. And can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda with items pulled?
So moved. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So first we'll go to K11, addendum to services agreement with TNG Consulting.
Yes, I will take this one on. We are requesting from the board to approve an addendum to the service agreement with TNG Consulting. TNG Consulting is the investigatory firm that we brought on in 2023 to assist the district in investigating complaints under Title IX or UCP against the district to free up the work of Mr. Godfrey and Mr. Gutierrez. And they have been doing that work since that time. And in a few of their investigations, it has been noted in the conclusion of those investigations that the staff involved should receive additional training. And in looking for that additional training, TNG does provide the additional training that we are looking for and are requesting. And this addendum would bring on that training or individual coaching, and it's referred to, it's the acronym is MPAC, but it's called Mentorship in Professionalism and Appropriate Conduct. And we already have 2 staff members that are specifically requested to receive training in professionalism and appropriate conduct. And so we asked the board for approval tonight to allow us to add this addendum to the T&G consulting contract. So we can ensure that staff are appropriately trained in those areas that they need additional training in. And so this would be specific to any of those investigations that conclude with a recommendation for additional training for those individuals.
You guys have any questions? Nope. Thank you for that. I was the one who pulled it. I just wanted a little bit more information about it. But for me, anything with training is good. We were just talking about CPI training. So training for management, training for everybody, I think it's a good idea. So if we don't have any questions, can I get a motion to approve?
So
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, next we'll go to case 684. The consent agenda. 84.
Supplemental assignment
There you
pacing
go.
guides to create teachers, and this
Yes.
is going to be Mr. Gutierrez.
Yes, over.
I thought I was gonna go over there.
So you heard Mr. Godfrey earlier speak about state standards, Common Core state standards, curricula, and all of that, right? So this item is to address the need to create pacing guides for the different subjects. And the teacher will be working on these pacing guides through July 31st, 2025, or May 28th, 2025, to July 31st, 2025. Making sure that we're aligning those standards to meet the student needs and the individual school site needs. And this item is presented to the board for approval. For any questions.
So with the pace, so is the district side creating the pacing guide, or the teachers creating it? Are we working together, or what is?
So usually what happens with this is we look at the curriculum and we find seasoned teachers at the grade level or subject matter, and then based on their expertise, we determine if the standard is introductory, developmental, or mastery for that grade level, and then we assign a specific time that we're going to be addressing that standard in the classroom to make sure that we are teaching to mastery, right? If it's an introductory lesson, we're going to expose the students, try to build that foundation for the next few years. So it's working with teachers at the grade level, expert teachers that we have in our district, and using the curriculum and the state standards to ensure that we are allowing ample time, appropriate time to address the standard in the content area or the grade level. And if I'll turn it over to the experts.
Okay.
Add anything else?
And I'm assuming this portion with the pacing guide, once we do make it, that is district wide, so it'll be the same for any fourth grade teacher,
Correct? It'll be district wide.
Yeah.
It'll be posted on the
We actually
website.
already have pacing guides. I apologize.
Go ahead.
So what I do is I work with our teachers from TK through sixth grade each summer, and going through and revising, realigning, looking at our core content areas to ensure that we're addressing all of the standards in an appropriate amount of time, looking at data that we, have for the assessments, seeing where our students are and then making those adjustments so that our students can have the appropriate amount of instruction in their areas, especially before state testing.
And is there anything as far as, I don't know, I guess either like district wise tracking or like where we actually fall, right? Because I know to certain degrees you have a perfect window, right? Or a perfect plan on what it's going to look like. And then sometimes something's a little shorter and sometimes things are a little bit longer. Do we track it at all? Or is this more like as far as like site visits, as far as seeing like generally speaking, where the teachers are falling within this, either like throughout the year or also say like at the end of the year to say, okay, well, did we actually get to the end of this guide? Did we fall a little bit short? Did we fall a lot short? Or where?
Right.
I guess so like one piece is kind of like I'm guessing is on site visits as far as the throughout the year.
Exactly.
but then there also would be like for the next year, did we not get there all the way, or what is that? Because I know also with state testing, right? And that kind of throws a whole nother switch into the whole thing, what you're teaching up until that point, and then after. Is there any way of addressing it? Or I guess if we do have a shortfall going into next school year, what is that?
Yes.
Okay.
So the teams that I work with, grade level teams, have been historically with this group since I came into the office. So they have the information as the school year goes on to bring that knowledge about like we said, like kind of where did we fall as a district. It's we have representation from multiple sites, and obviously it's all the different grade levels. So we can make those adjustments. As you mentioned, when we are doing site visits and walkthroughs, that's when we're noticing, does the information, in the classroom match the lessons that are being, taught? Are we seeing a big discrepancy where, for instance, it's December, but this particular class is still on chapter 2 in math, you know what I mean? So, and making those, having those conversations with the site administration in that regard. And then also we have the data with our benchmark assessments, especially say with iReady, because that's showing us progress toward mastery with our standards. So yes, kind of to all of it.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Did you guys have any other questions? Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is case 6A5, supplemental assignment, multi-tier support system, MTSS.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, this item addresses the need to have these three individuals that are listed, Ms. Margie Nakada, Ms. Shannon Varela, and Mr. Radana Barda, working with the district to as a team from May 30th, 2025 through August 1st, 2025, to work through the MTSS system, multi-tier system to support, which are academic, social emotional learning, and behavior. So those are the three pillars of MTSS. They're going to be working over the summer to develop a comprehensive MTSS system for the district. And it's presented for your approval.
I was curious with it. We have, right, like it's literally in the title as far as multi-tier support system, and is part of creating the plan as far as creating some kind of an avenue or what we're doing on like the higher levels of the tiers of the support systems with the students, or is that, I know that's kind of like a larger
piece. So you're asking probably like, correct me if I'm wrong, quality control, right? Are we providing a quality level of education for our students under the MTSS umbrella? Is that what you're asking?
Well, like kind of, so like you have like your, I guess like your supports of like what we're providing to students given a certain situation, right? And then there's lower levels of doing that and then higher levels of doing things as far as, what that looks like.
Yeah, so we've engaged in MTSS. Oh my God, when did we start with this? 12 years ago? 2018. 2018, a long time ago. Actually, it was before that. A little bit before that, I think, right? Because I was a coach back then, and so it was a long time ago. And the district has always tried to ensure that we are aligning the experiences to the MTSS, right, to multi-tier system support. So your question is, okay, so how are we ensuring that we are providing an MTSS enriched program to our students, right? We're at different levels depending on the school site, right? One that comes to mind is PBIS, right? As part of the judgment, it continues to kind of reoccur, and we're at different levels depending on which year PBIS. So they're going to be engaging in analyzing data. That's why Shannon Burrell is there. She's a PBIS district coach. Margie Nahara is bringing in the EL component, the academic side, and then Mr. Radana is the counselor. So, do you want to add anything?
So I guess to be like more kind of, I'll give a hypothetical, I guess, or so like you have like your regular everyday behaviors of students getting out of their seat, talking in class, whatever. Okay, then you have like, you know, your either disruption and or doing something, you're not throwing objects, but you're not hurting somebody, you know, then you know, okay, and we have wellness centers and we have other things, right? But then I feel like we kind of have an area that I feel like is kind of above that stuff, right? And maybe fighting to a certain degree, but say lower, like not like say full blown, like knocking somebody out, but like a lower level physical altercation per se.
Physical aggression, PHAG. That's
There you go.
That's how
Don't
we
have all
report
the
it.
technical acronyms, right?
It's not a fight with physical aggression.
Yeah, there we go. That. So you have those types of things, but happening like more regularly, right? But where we don't have things that are necessarily leading to like the far end, as far as like students being fully suspended / expelled from school. What falls in that area where it's past that point that you just mentioned, but before this point, that area, I don't know what the exact acronym would be or tier level that would fall under or what.
Yeah, so you're discussing you're adding a tier in between tier 2 and tier 3.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
Like I said, I don't know all the.
So physical aggression would be a tier 2.
Okay.
The fight expulsion would be a tier 3. So the students would need to receive tier 3 supports at that moment.
Okay.
Expulsion. So part of the PBIS is making sure that we recognize those behaviors and the antecedent behaviors so that we can get ahead of them, not being reactive but proactive, right? So it's individual. You know, what triggers each student is to be, you know, you have a multitude of reasons why students are triggered to behave the way they behave. And as the experts in the room, as professionals, we are supposed to recognize those signs before they happen so that we can address it with the appropriate resources, right? So
that's where I was going with my question is that what exactly what you're saying, is that part of what's being formulated by the work that they're doing to then push that to everyone?
So they are going to be analyzing data, right, in terms of PBIS. They're going to be working together to see where the gaps are at the school sites in terms of their multi-tier system of support. They're going to be engaging in those things. So basically, I assume they're going to be doing a comprehensive needs assessment for the district, looking at that data, and then based on that, direct the professional development and supports for each school site. Independent supports for each school site based on their individual needs. And correct me if I'm wrong, if I missed something.
Okay.
Covered it pretty well.
Okay.
And the 3 listed here are serving on a district team. That's why it's coming forward to you, because we have to be able to pay them on a time card to come.
Yeah.
And the point of the 2 meetings that we'll have over the summer is to do some planning work for how we're going to support site level MTSS teams in the 3 pillars that George is talking about.
Okay. And I'm assuming after they have theirs, then there'll be like a follow on with those 3 members with the site people later.
Not just the 3 of them, it'll be the entire team. The team consists of district levels, folks, teachers. We have a consultant that comes in and helps us with the work.
Thank you. Yes. All right.
Presented for the work for approval.
Sorry. Thank you, sir. No, all good. Thank you all for all the information. Can I get a motion to approve?
Move we approve.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. And next is K6A6 Supplemental Assignment Adult Education Program.
Mr. Gutierrez.
So this one, Scott Godfrey has identified a need to have supplemental extra media assignments for Ms. Amy Bodden and Michelle Collier to assess and evaluate students' assignments for the GE testing. This is a recurring, practice that we engage year after year, during the summer, and they do good work to make sure that they are looking at how we disperse the funds to make sure that students are graduating. This presented to the board for.
So that was the question I had, because it says in this, it says, for the adult program to complete reporting for 24-25. But then prep for 25-26.
So they're engaging in both. They have to report to the state, but also looking at, you know, how to improve practice for next year and stuff.
Correct. And you said it's recurring anyway. They do this every year. Gotcha.
Every year.
That's what I want to know.
So if I may add a little bit more, the district tried to address this with a position that we interviewed and didn't materialize. So we're back to square one. So so the reoccurrence, yeah.
It's his fault.
No, it's not his fault actually. No.
No, that's all, because I was wondering,
Yeah.
I was like,
No, yeah.
complete, and it just didn't ring
It's
right.
putting a button and projecting for the following year how to.
Okay.
It's summer work.
Thank you. Yes, I'm good.
Any other questions? All right, can I get a motion?
I motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I believe that closes everything from the consent agenda. It will bring us to discussion items, general L11, resolution 21, number 21 for the 24-25 to change the date of the regular board meeting from July 22nd, 2025.
Yes, thank you. Currently, in our calendar, our only July meeting is scheduled for July 22nd, 2025. And as I believe most of you are aware, we do a 2-year calendar cycle. So with the 25-26 calendar, we were unaware that management retreat is going to be held the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which is July 22nd, July 23rd, July 24th, which means all management team, to include everyone sitting at this dais, will be away from the office at the management retreat, and therefore requiring a need to change the July 22nd board meeting to July 8th, which would follow our normal cycle, which is the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. So taking it the second Tuesday of the month to the first Tuesday of the month. Did I say that right?
From the fourth to the second.
Taking it from the fourth Tuesday of the month to the second Tuesday of the month. I didn't sound right.
Because we only have one.
Because we only have one board meeting twice. So instead of doing it on the fourth Tuesday of the month, move it and do it on the second Tuesday of the month. And in order to do so, we must bring a resolution to the board because that is already on a district approved calendar. And it is submitted to the board for approval.
Questions, comments, anyone? All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next is personnel services certificated L6A1 public hearing and adoption of general declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 25-26 school year. Recommending the Board of Trustees adjourn to a public hearing on the general declaration, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with that, of need for fully qualified educators. So it is 6:38 and we will adjourn. Okay. We're just allowing any time if anybody has any comments they would like to make on.
I thought you were going to comment.
We will be short.
Yeah, he looked back because I was doing the audience member, so I thought that was my cue from George. Be like,
Bye.
Yeah, you're okay. All right. No comments. In fact, it is 6:39 and we will reconvene. Following the public hearing, recommending that the Board of Trustees adopt the declaration of need for fully qualified educators, certifying that there is an insufficient number of certificated persons who meet the district's specific employment criteria for the position listed in the attached declaration. The declaration shall remain in force and effect until June 30th, 2026. And that's not, we don't need to vote now, it's just the hearing portion, correct? Or do we need a vote?
You need to vote.
We do need a vote, okay. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we have any items for future board meetings?
Yes. I would like to have, the athletic director explain to us how he cuts up the money for junior high school and high school and what percentages go to where. Based on his funding.
Okay. Does anyone else have any items they'd like to bring up? Okay.
Extend real quick on that. Sorry.
Saw your fingers.
Thank you.
Where's Carrie where you need her?
Oh, sorry, Carrie. Come on, Carrie. Mr. Q.
Does anyone have any?
If the board approves my time
Closed?
card, sure.
I don't believe. No. Okay. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
6:41, meeting adjourned.